Hey everyone, today we're talking about the 5 things that I want you to know if you're moving to or thinking of moving to Maryland, and let's jump right into it. Welcome back to the Living in Maryland channel where we talk about all things Maryland. So if that's the kind of information you're looking for, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you're notified of the new videos we do each and every week about all things living here in Maryland. And we get calls, emails, texts weekly about people moving here to the area looking to get information about their move to Maryland, and we absolutely love it. So if you're thinking about moving to the area, thinking of buying or selling here in Maryland, we would love to help you out. Feel free to reach out to us any way that's most convenient for you. And days, nights, and weekends, we've got your back when moving here to the state of Maryland. Number one is going to be, don't forget about the suburban living here in the great state of Maryland. So given that we are in a dual metro area, you've got Baltimore, you've got DC, you've got the parts of Montgomery County and PG County that are surrounding DC, which are very urban and city-like as well. So you've got a ton of urban living if that's what you're looking for, but also the suburban living here in central Maryland specifically is awesome. It's something that I just wanted to mention and make sure everyone knew about. So, there's a few things that you can expect here, and specifically I get a lot of questions about HOAs, what did that look like, and what can we expect there? So the cool thing about Maryland is obviously it's an older state. We've got a ton of older homes, older communities. And when I say older, I mean, I live in like a 60s rancher, so that's probably on the older side. You've got much older homes than that as well. So you've got a great mix of communities with HOAs, and then a lot of communities as well, specifically newer homes that have HOAs, if that's something you're okay with or indifferent about. So for me, I was kind of trying to steer away from that. So we found a community without that, and it's been great. But then also with the HOAs here in the area, I mean, I've noticed since doing real estate here for several years, they're all pretty for the most part laid back. So your average HOA in a single family community is probably going to run anywhere from $50 to $65 a month. And for the most part, I have not gotten a lot of complaints about the HOAs being super strict and all those sorts of things. The cool thing about Maryland as well is Maryland's got a state law that when you're buying a home here in the state of Maryland, the seller by law has to present you an entire resale package from the HOA for your review. And the cool thing about this is it adds an extra layer if you're purchasing a home with an HOA of protection. And what I mean by that is you get a 7-day review period from the time you receive those HOA docs, and it almost always comes after you're under contract on the home. So it's going to give you that protection in the sense that you have an unconditional right to walk away from that home if you're unsatisfied in any way with the HOA docs, rules, or whatever. So it's kind of a nice protection for home buyers here in the area if it's got an HOA. If it doesn't have an HOA, obviously it's not going to have that part of the contract. So that's just something that I like to let people know about, specific to HOAs here. But overall, they're pretty laid back. And if you're looking to stay away from HOAs, you've had bad experiences in the past, or whatever that reason may be, you're going to have plenty of options with some older communities where you're not going to see those HOAs. So you're going to have both options no matter which route you end up going there. And something that I've found, specific to Maryland is why I love the suburbs so much here is that you're still so close to the city, to Baltimore or DC or wherever, given how small Maryland is. So for me, I live in Howard County, Maryland. I'm 20 minutes flat to the Inner Harbor. So, I mean, I just kind of feel like I fly down there. So I'm super close. So even though I'm, removed and get that suburban lifestyle, if we want to go into the city, do something, hang out for a night, it's super, super close. DC is about 45 to 50 minutes away, since we're a little further, north, in Maryland, or within central Maryland rather. But either way, you're under an hour to both within that central Maryland corridor, and that's something that I absolutely love, where you're not super far away. You still get to enjoy that city urban lifestyle if you want to. Number 2 is going to be, make sure you consider all housing options. So, weighing buying versus renting, and just kind of seeing what makes sense, for you. I mean, I've seen people kind of force, the purchasing thing, and sometimes that doesn't always work out well, depending on, what you're here for. We've got a lot of military, a lot of government workers. So if you're coming for a short period of time, maybe buying doesn't make sense. But I will tell you, most people end up kind of steering towards the buying route, because the median rent here within Central Maryland for a single family home, so if you've got a couple kids and that's the kind of housing that you want, is $3,000 a month to rent. So you're going to see it probably in that range, 2,800 to 3,300 bucks a month for your 3-4 bedroom single family home within the area here. So most people end up doing some of that research and just coming to the conclusion that that's just not, they don't want to spend that kind of money each year to rent something that they don't own or can build equity in. So again, that's kind of the way most people go. But sometimes, again, if you're here for a short period of time, or if it's unknown and you really want to get comfortable with the area, renting is certainly an option. But that's kind of the price point you can expect depending on what you're looking for. So just kind of weighing that and seeing what makes the most sense for you can be really helpful as well. All right, number 3 is going to be Maryland weather is not all that bad. It's pretty mild, although we do experience all seasons. But the bigger thing about Maryland weather is how unpredictable it is, and this is something that I've learned, more and more each and every year. So we're approaching middle of November as I film this video, and the whole last week has just been this whole up and down between a high of 50 and then a high of 70, and it's just kind of up and down. Every March, it just seems like we think we're out of winter, but then all of a sudden, it's 32 degrees again. So, one day will be 30, 35, the next day will be 70, 75. And it's kind of this whole thing. And once you get to Maryland, you're going to totally understand that. People talk about it and joke about it. Social media, the memes start going around and stuff. But I think a couple years ago, we had like a 65 or 70 degree Christmas day, So although we get to experience all 4 seasons, which is something I love about Maryland, but you're not dealing with the heavy extremes like you are in parts of the Midwest, the Northeast, or something like that. So we're going to get a little bit of snow each year, but it comes and goes very quickly. The snow that falls typically less than 24 hours is gone, because the days typically don't stay cold long enough. So it's awesome because you get to experience all the seasons. Fall and springs are beautiful, but you don't get those extremes, in the winter and the summer and with the humidity and all that kind of stuff. Although we do get humidity, and the summers are pretty warm and stuff, but it's not anything like in the deep South or anything like that. So that's the cool thing about Maryland, is that it's fairly mild but unpredictable. It's going to be all over the place, and that's something that you should definitely expect when coming here to Maryland. Number 4 is going to be that Maryland has it all when it comes to getting outdoors and having a good time. So I haven't looked it up in a while, but I think Maryland is nicknamed, Little America, Mini America, or something like that, because it's kind of got it all. It's got, mountains, it's got beaches, it's got lakes, rivers. So when it comes to getting outside, having fun with the family, hiking, doing whatever it is that you like to do outside, Maryland's going to have opportunities for you. Obviously, we've got the bay, and all that kind of stuff. So if you like boating, fishing, whatever it is outside, Maryland's going to have the opportunities for you to do those kind of things. So be prepared when you're moving to Maryland to have all those opportunities, and it's definitely a good time. Something that I absolutely love about Maryland, and as I mentioned before, just given how small kind of the state is you're really no more than an hour or 2 drive from a lot of these things, which just makes doing so many more things possible. So for me growing up in LA, we just had to drive so far. The mountains were 3 hours. Taking out our dirt bikes, we had to drive at least 2.5, 3 hours just to get out to the desert, out from where all the people were. So being here in Maryland, where there's so many things closer, is just awesome. Something that I love about this state. So Deep Creek is going to be in Western Maryland. So this is something that you definitely want to check out once you move to Maryland and get settled in. This is what we call our mountains here in Maryland. It's nothing like on the West Coast or anything. It's about 2,500 feet elevation, but it's got that mountainy feel. It's got everything that you want to do in regards to that. So in the winter, Wisp Ski Resort is gonna, they've got the slopes, they've got opportunities to ski and snowboard and do whatever you want there. During the summer, their golf courses are great. I've played them several times. And it's absolutely beautiful being up there. So Deep Creek is definitely something I would check out. It's the largest inland body of water in the state of Maryland. So it covers 3,900 acres, and it's got 69 miles of shoreline. So anything you want to do lake related, It's definitely a good time to get out there. Summer, winter, spring, fall, it doesn't matter, year round. This place is a great time for the family, and just to get outside and hang out. And then Ocean City is a Maryland staple for annual beach trips. So that's something that you're definitely going to be seeing and hearing about once you're here in the state of Maryland. Ocean City is about 2.5 hours from Baltimore, Central Maryland. That region. So that's something you can expect. Taking the Bay Bridge, of course, it gets during your typical travel hours or rush hour. You're going to run into some traffic there, so that's something to be prepared for. We always try to head out at off times, and you can definitely make it in about 2.5 hours without any traffic. So that's a really cool beach environment. Although I will say, especially coming from West Coast beaches, it's very, very touristy in Ocean City. So that's something that's, depending on what you're looking for, is cool. I think it's cool some of the times if you want to go out and you want to be, go out to bars or, hit up the boardwalk or whatever. So depending on what you're looking to do there, it's definitely a good time because they've got, everything's going on in Ocean City. They got the fishing tournaments, they've got, everything's happening there. But if you're looking for the more laid back beach trips, you're going to want to head north to Bethany, some beaches in Delaware. Outer Banks is still very popular here, although that's going to be, more of a drive, probably 4.5, 5 hours down to the Carolinas. And the Outer Banks is a much more kind of laid back, vibe as far as, the beaches here in the area. But that's something that you can expect and something that's always fun to do each year here in Maryland. And then the parks and state parks in Maryland are awesome as well, and there's so many. So for me, being in Howard County, I've got Patapsco State Park on the north side, Patuxent State Park on the south side. So if you want to get outside and hike, or whatever, get outside with the kids or the dogs, or and whatever you're looking to do, there's so much opportunity, and those are they're probably less than 15 to 20 minutes. For me. So, and that's going to be all throughout Central Maryland. So no matter where you're at, there's going to be state parks that are nearby, and that's not even including just other parks. In Howard County, we've got Centennial Park, that's nearby where you can go, get outside. They've got snack stands. They've got a small lake. So that's just specific to Howard County. But I know all throughout Central Maryland, there's just tons of opportunities to get outside and hike. In all the state parks that we have all throughout Central Maryland. So that's something, depending on what area you're looking for, hop on Google, check out state parks in the area. And if you're looking to get outdoors and hike and be in the woods, and check out the scenes, the outdoor scenery here in Maryland, you're going to have tons of close by opportunities. And number 5 is Baltimore's not that bad. And I say that with an asterisk next to it. And the only reason why is because, of course, everyone's going to have different experiences and kind of different opinions on this, and different comfort levels when it comes to going into the city and stuff like that. So, but just like any city, you're going to want to, do your research and see what areas are that you're comfortable with and stuff like that. So for us, we've stuck to, the Inner Harbor has a ton of things to do. So we're, down there fairly frequently. I mean, my wife and I, we've got a 1-year-old now, so we've been down less, but before that, for the several years that we've been here, we were probably going down, once every month, every other month to do something in either Fed Hill, Canton, or the Inner Harbor. And for us, we've never had any serious issues, thank God. But, so that's something that you just want to look into. But, and we did move here, and I think it was late 2015. So I think that was shortly after the riots. And it is unfortunate. Some businesses had left during that time and never went back. So, but the city is making efforts to kind of, get back on its feet and all those sorts of things. Now, when you are in the Inner Harbor, I've noticed several times, you do see, more and more police presence, not in kind of in a weird way, but just, they're just out and about saying hi to people and, walking around and stuff. So from that aspect, it does feel, fairly safe and stuff like that. So that's something that I would check out. It is something, going into the city is still something that we do and we feel comfortable doing it. But of course, that's something that is going to, differ from person to person. So that's something you may want to look into, but definitely a lot of fun things to do. And as I mentioned in the beginning, Baltimore City for us, we're in Howard County, which is going to be more of a Baltimore metro. We're 20 minutes down to the Inner Harbor. And the thing that I love about Baltimore is that still has so much to do, and it's a very close by and accessible city. It's a smaller city, in comparison to other cities around the country. So for us, we hop on the Beltway, we take 95 in, and then 395 cuts you straight in where you're passing Camden Yards and M&T. stadium on your left, and then you're right down there, hitting Light Street, and the Inner Harbor's right there. And getting out is very quick. So when I said accessible, and the thing that I like about it being accessible is that you can get in and out of the city, very quickly, especially if you're outside of your traditional typical rush hours and all that kind of stuff, people leaving the city from work and stuff like that. So one of the things that I love about it, like if you're going to a Ravens game, if you're going to an O's game, or going to hang out in the Inner Harbor, getting in and out of the city is super, super easy and quick. And that's one of the things I love about Baltimore. It doesn't feel like you got to drive several minutes or 15, 20 minutes just to get into the city. You're just kind of off 95 and you're kind of right in there. So something that I really like about Baltimore. So some of the things that we've really enjoyed over the years doing in Baltimore is we love to go see some shows. So we saw Jim Gaffigan at the Lyric, which was awesome. So that's a cool place to go to. And then we also saw Wicked at the Hippodrome. And then, that was a great show. And Hamilton was coming a couple years ago, but then COVID hit. So we didn't get a chance to go see that. We did watch it on Disney Plus, which was amazing, but that's definitely something that I want to see in person at the Hippodrome. So hopefully they'll be getting that stuff back up and coming soon. I've got to check their schedule. So those are definitely some fun things to do. The aquarium in the Inner Harbor, Baltimore, is awesome. Fridays they've got half off admission, so you can get in there for $20 after 5 p.m. on Friday. I think they're open till 8 or 9. So that's something that I would definitely check out. And it's just an awesome thing to do, in the Inner Harbor. They've got Little Italy there on the outskirts of the Inner Harbor as well. So if you're looking for some amazing Italian food, that's something that I would check out. Power Plant Live is an awesome place to go check out if you're, out there, on a Friday, Saturday night, and you're looking for some food and some places, to go hang out. They've got, cornhole. They've got a ton of things outside in addition to all the restaurants and the bars that they've kind of got in a, kind of enclosed area. So that's something that I would check out as well. And then if you're a history buff, Baltimore and Maryland in general is going to have a lot of cool things to see as well. So Locust Point is an area that I love too, and something that is cool to check out if that's something you're interested in. It's actually a community now where you can live there. They've got a bunch of row homes and stuff like that. But Fort McHenry is an area in Locust Point that you can go check out. It's a really cool place to go tour and take a look at. And it's where the Baltimore fort there was successfully defended against the British Navy attack in the War of 1812. So you'll see in Maryland, one of our really popular plates is from the War of 1812 for that reason. And this is where Francis Scott Key was inspired to write the national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner. So a lot of cool history right there in the area that's super close by too. So a lot of opportunity to check out historical stuff as well. All right, everyone, thanks so much for watching. Hope you learned something new. If you ever have any questions, feel free to comment below or reach out, and we will see you at the next video.